There's an interview with the Cannon brothers at EVO Japan. I'm just talking about this tweet where this guy's like, Project L won't save the FGC like y'all think it will. So what makes you think that? Let me ask why you think it will if you believe that. I think it has a good shot at bringing in a ton of new players, at least at launch. Whether or not they stay is up to them. Will new players fix the FGC? And personally, I feel that any new fighting game will bring in a bunch of new players. Just look at the hype around 6, Tekken 8, and the standards of fighting games are raising significantly. No game would drop a half-ass game these days, or else it will flop. But you know, I quote tweet him, and he responds with, "It was just an exaggeration, laugh my ass off. I'm personally not interested in the game much right now. I'm just saying I don't think it'll be the savior as some of these resentful players are saying. That's all, laugh my ass off. No game is the savior. The savior is the game you love." He's trying to be profound, but I'm sorry, that's just factually incorrect. If he's talking about saving the FGC and not saving you as the individual, this has nothing to do with the topic at hand. But I was just like, fair enough, whatever. I'm not gonna deal with this guy. He doesn't get the message. And remember, chat, if you call somebody out, they might backpedal on what they said, and it's fine. You can stand by your opinion. There's nothing wrong with it. I saw a bit of this. The beginning is just talking about the lore of the Cannon brothers.
So to begin with, how did you start developing these netcodes? How did it come to?
We'll start here.
It was wow. When the original Xbox came out, Capcom released Hyper Fighter, which was a game that I played in arcades. But I was very busy with work.
Damn, not the
and I didn't have
mic
time to go
screech.
to arcades anymore, so I tried playing it online, and it used an input delay system.
No,
which,
Epics.
doesn't feel good to a player.
Not for free.
I was disappointed. And so in my spare time, I started looking at ways to improve netcode. And it really boiled down to, I have a computer science degree, I work in a tech company, I understand networking, but I'm also a player, so I understand what feels good and what's necessary to make it feel good.
Thank you.
And then just through experimenting with different
I
techniques,
owe you my life.
I came up with rollback. And then some friends and I got together and just tried it. First we played, within California, and then we played California to Virginia, and then we played California to Australia, and it held up. And that's when we knew we had something, right? That was a pretty exciting moment.
So we spoke about EVO and we spoke about GGPO. So in that sense, both of you has contributed to fighting games, both through event and through software, and succeeded. And so what do you think about the success that you have achieved through these two media?
It's a little bit humbling. This is beyond what we dreamed of for EVO. And Tony made GGPO not to try to make $1 million, but to try to make fighting games better, which is why he open sourced it. And to see that kind of technology being adopted.
Yeah, how are you gonna hate on these devs, dude? I don't get. How are you gonna want the Cannon brothers game to fail? They open source GGPO. They could have said, "Fuck all of you, pay me, bitch."
So many
You know how many
it's
games you?
we hope for?
Man,
But we are always driven by what's next. What's the next thing we can do to try to make fighting games better?
So I'd like to move on to a topic that everybody here is waiting for, Project L. So we obviously understand that your experience in the fighting games in the past has helped you in developing Project L. Could you be more specific how your experience from the past helped you in developing
they had
this
Rising
new
Thunder.
project?
I think Tony's story about GGPO is a good example because we are players and because we have been involved with building experiences for fighting game players for so long. We have a lot of practice in understanding hopefully what will make players happy. And so like at EVO Japan
you guys do realize that a lot of these gaming companies are run by businessmen and not gamers, right? Like, all these motherfuckers are businessmen. And then down the ladder you get to the gamers, right? I mean, it's not as bad now as it was in the past, but a lot of them are still businessmen, first and foremost. They probably don't even play the game that they work for.
EVOs, we have this
Or play games
top
at all.
8 format, right? Which we think is an exciting way to conclude a tournament. And so, based on all the things that we've learned through all of these, we can take.
I'm
those
talking about the
learnings-
people you don't see, Akuma. I'm talking about the executives, the higher ups, right? You think Bobby Kotick? You think that asshole played video games? No, he's the fucking devil.
and try to put them into software, into a video game, which is different. But for instance, when we're thinking about our rank system, we're thinking about what does it feel like to go through like pools, and then to have that celebration of like, I made it out of pools, but now can I make it to the finals, and then can I win? And we understand the emotional journey that the player goes on, and we can try to come up with ideas in the game that give you hopefully the same feeling.
So I think what you just said really comes to the fact that you're trying to make this free to play, and you're thinking about the players and for the business industry itself. But I think he's saying that he thinks that the only titles, well, most titles have not succeeded in making their games actually free to play. So could you tell us about why you want to make it free to play, and also how?
Just to say, the other people that try to make their games free to play don't know how the business model works. Look at Multiverses, for example, right? Okay, so just what I'm
How
on
you're
saying.
trying to monetize this Project L?
Yeah, one of the things we're trying to do with Project L is let more players find the magic of fighting games. And right now there are many barriers. One of the things that can help there is making it free to play, where they can experience the breadth of fighting games. One of the things that we're very serious about is making sure that they get a genuine experience, and so we will never try to sell power, right? So they should be able to have a full.
Oh, wait, hold on. Not pay to win? Am I understanding this?
One of the things that we're very serious about is making sure that they get a genuine experience, and so we will never try to sell power. Right?
Okay, so not pay to win. Interesting. Okay.
Should be able to have a full strength character or explore the roster without having to pay, and that will lead to more engagement, and then when they spend money because they love the game, they'll feel good about it. They'll feel good about it before the purchase and then after the purchase. As far as
Actually
models,
pretty
like
good.
Riot has other titles in the free-to-play space, like League of Legends and Valorant, that are very successful. So we're going to borrow ideas from those games and
They
make
have
sure
the
that
formula,
they make sense in the fighting game
and they
genre.
proved it works.
For example, both of those games will sell cosmetics as opposed to power. So maybe that's an approach we'll take.
I mean, okay, just to, if Riot is smart, they'll do what, oh, here, Olympic screen. They'll do what Street Fighter did, right? You know how Street Fighter has it where you can unlock characters with in-game currency, right? I don't know if they made it better, but it did take a while, but you could buy characters with in-game currency if you played enough. It would be, granted, it took a while, right? So it's easier sometimes to just buy the character. I could see Riot adopting that idea with Project L, right? That would be a smart idea. Like, hey, if you play the game long enough, granted it could take 100, 200 matches or whatever, you could unlock this character with in-game currency, or you could just pay us like $5-6. I don't know what they're gonna sell the characters for, but typically right now in the ecosystem it's like $5-6 per character, right? Typically, or you just get the season pass. You get all the characters that come out in that pass for like $10 discount, right? Yeah, so this could be the form. Obviously, this DLC's pay to win, right? Look at Dragon Ball, top characters pay to win. But if they give you the alternative of if you just play the game enough, you get rewarded by unlocking a character, like Apex Legends, man. Thank God, Apex Legends. I could go back and use that as a bunch of examples. Even though they handled that game very poorly, it still has good examples. If you play that game long enough, you can unlock legends for free. You can unlock characters for free, or you could pay for them. Or if you just grind the game, you could get the characters with in-game currency. Does League work like that? Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna adopt this formula for Project L. It's like, hey, you don't have to pay for the character. It's gonna take you longer to get them, but if you're just grinding the game forever, right, or a lot, or a decent amount, you could just buy new characters as they come out because you have all these credits stored up. Although I do hope that you could also buy other things with in-game currency, right? For the people that grind the game out every day or every other day, spend a good amount of time. because you just end up with a bunch of credits left over, and then you buy a character, and then you have a bunch of credits left over. I don't care if the skins cost like, let's say it's like 1,000 credits to buy a character, right? In-game credit. I don't care if the skins are like double or triple that price of in-game currency. It's in-game currency. And sure, it's a grinding, grueling process, but if you can get it with in-game currency, that'd
What
be
up,
tight.
Cloud and Chat?
Again, it wouldn't be cheap with in-game currency, but if you have that option, it would be great. Skins will be real money 100%. Yeah, but I'm saying if they give you the option of even quadruple the price, right, of in-game currency, again, it would take forever. Or you could maybe buy one, right? I still think that would be a great idea. Or maybe you could do other stuff. Maybe you'll have your own lobby or your own room. Like, imagine they give you lobby, your own private rooms that you could customize like an Animal Crossing. Wouldn't that be sick? Hey, what's up? Welcome to my room, dude. Check out my shit. Welcome to fucking MTV Cribs Project L Edition, dude. Would that not be sick? Well, there's teenagers, right, Merchant? There's teenagers. You know, there's us, streamers, content creators, right? We're the no-lifers, okay? But wouldn't that be sick, dude? You could customize, you could buy some cool shit for your room at Animal Crossing that bitch. You got furniture, you have a TV. Imagine you could put up like a monitor in your in-game room and it's streaming League. Or it's like streaming matches that it's pulling from what are the main, like let's say there's a tournament going on and you just put up a TV in your fucking lobby and you and your homies can just watch it from there, right? just for the whole aesthetic appeal of it.
So we understand that you in the first half of the interview, you said that you were involved in developing Rising Thunder. And this development experience of Rising Thunder probably gave you ideas for doing Project L. And for example, the cooldown system, which probably was from League of Legends. This game was one of the first games to introduce cooldown system. So like that, could you tell us about how...
It's gotcha? Oh, terrible. Anyways, so yeah, just to add to what he was saying, I don't think cooldown systems are a good idea. I don't know. I don't think it's been confirmed or denied that Project L is gonna have a cooldown system. I forget if it was in GamerBee's post, but anyways, I just want to say that the way GranBlue did it wasn't bad, because if you did the motion, there was no cooldown. If you did the shortcut, there was a cooldown of a few seconds, and if you did the EX version of the move, then yeah, there was a cooldown of it. EX version makes sense, whatever, right? Do the input, no cooldown. Do the shortcut, which you would typically do the shortcut if you want to DP somebody's jumping, you know. Makes sense. Oh, DP the jumping, but now you don't have access to it for a little bit. And I think
your experience
you just got
Rising
longer
Thunder is helping you in developing Project L.
So let me talk about our approach to fighting games, and just our approach to everything we do. There are so many great fighting games being made today, and we can see many of them here, and even the upcoming ones. They're so impressive. If we're going to do something, we feel like we need to try something new. Like we will experiment to see if we can like find new things that can make fighting games better. Like with EVO, the open bracket format was an experiment, and it worked out. Cooldowns in Rising Thunder was one of those experiments, but it didn't work out. We weren't really happy with that, and we think taking options away from the player, like you hit a button and then you can't hit that button again for 5 seconds or something, that was not a good idea. But there was
thank you. Listen.
With EVO, the open bracket format was an experiment, and it worked out. Cooldowns in Rising Thunder was one of those experiments, but it didn't work out. We weren't really happy with that, and we think taking options away from the player, like you hit a button and then you can't hit that button again for 5 seconds or something, that was not a good idea. But
so I guess this soft confirms that they're not gonna have cooldowns in the game, because they said it was a terrible idea. Okay, great. No cooldowns. Soft confirmed. All right.
There was a reason why we thought that was interesting. It was to try to balance simplified inputs. Okay. And so we've taken those learnings and we're applying those to Project L. And so we think with Project L, we and this is like we've even learned more developing Project L. And when we finally
me on the
this game
team,
to
coach.
players, you will teach us so much more about this game immediately, right? And so the way that we think about this project and all of our projects is, can we constantly be learning and making things better, and be and try new things, not be afraid to try new things. But if they don't work out, listen to players and change.
ありがとうございます。そこに関連する話だと
And
思うんですけど。
usually when a dev says this, I'd be like, you're full of shit. But they play fighting games. They made GGPO. They understand the aspect of what's too strong, what's broken, what's not fun, what needs to be changed, right? Again, a lot of people out there, they don't know the lore of the people working on the game, right? They don't know who's working behind the scenes. Are you gonna not have faith in the motherfuckers who made GGPO? If these motherfuckers never made GGPO, we'd still be on delay-based netcode or absorption netcode, right? Maybe someone else would have made something similar to rollback. We don't know though. What we can say for a fact is they made GGPO. They saved fighting games. Realistic, if you really think about it, they saved fighting games. People were getting sick of delay-based netcode. They don't got the God Shady K working on this. I don't know.
League of Legends,
They haven't disclosed. The only people that I know that are working on this are the people that have presented themselves, like in front of the camera, right, and that their information is out there, right. None of these people have their information to the public. I'm not gonna say who, because I'm not gonna put them out there like that. But yeah. The team's pretty solid from what I'm aware.
Every 2 weeks. And for fighting games, those updates, a lot of updates are not so favored among the players, to my understanding. So Project L, how are you going to keep the balance? How are you going to make adjustments?
So as someone who doesn't play League, apparently they have balance patches like every 2 weeks. That's terrible. Fighting games need, at the earliest, like 2 to 3 months. 3 months, right? At the earliest, like a 3-month gap. 2 if there's some fucked up shit going on. Some too fucked up. If something is too broken, lab coat, for example, Virgil, right? Then you need to make some change. X Factor as a whole, then you gotta make some changes, right? Like an emergency patch, like, oh shit, we fucked up. Go back. Go back. Virgil's not fine. Shut the fuck up. TAC Infinites, right?
Adjustments. What are your thoughts right now?
We take inspiration from League of Legends, but for everything we do, we will do what's right for a fighting game. And so what we like about League is we think constantly keeping the game updated makes sure that the game doesn't stay in a bad state for too long. But part of the fun of fighting games is seeing an overpowered technique, and then the players try to figure it out.
Yeah.
And maybe they can counter it, right? And then can you have a counter for the counter? And if you patch the game too quickly, that's not possible. So we're going to, we won't patch every 2 weeks. It's pretty safe to say that. We're going to find the right...
Thank God.
Time between patches that works really well for a fighting game. And this...
Well, no, because it only makes sense, Adpex. You can't patch a fighting game every 2 to 3 weeks because the game doesn't even get a chance to evolve. Like, oh, they changed my character. Oh, I didn't even get to figure out my character. Oh, my character's all of a sudden broken. Oh, they're the worst character in the game. Oh no, they're terrible. It's obvious. You at least need to give the game some time to develop. Like, I'm sure when the game first comes out, they probably won't even patch it for like the first 6 months because they're just going to be like, hey, here's the game. Have fun. Unless something broken gets discovered, then they're going to be like, okay, we got to go in there and we got to change this shit, right? That shouldn't be allowed. But outside of that, they're probably like, 6 months, here it is. Here's a character. Or 2. I don't know. It's a team-based game. I hope they release them in pairs. But, you know, that's too much hopium. But yeah. They got to give the game the development when it first comes out. Then after that, it's like, okay, great. People know how to play the game. They know the mechanics. They know how the system works. They know how to abuse it. Blah, 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 blah. Fighting game nature.
This is an area where once we are live, one day. um, we're really going to listen to players. And if you tell us we're patching too quickly or too slowly, we'll try something else until we get it right.
ありがとうござい
They're
ます。そこ
they're
ら辺は
never
まあ
gonna
その
be able to get it right because people are gonna complain about a certain character. People are not gonna complain. It's gonna be so wishy-washy that they have to tread lightly. Is you can't listen to everybody, right? You can't listen to. Here's the thing: people still complain about UI in Dragon Ball, and that character sucks. That character's awful, dude. He's not even like top 15. He is so bad, right? But the devs will be like, damn, we need to do something so it doesn't seem like a scrub killer to these people anymore. We have to maybe rework how he plays a little bit so people will stop complaining about him, right? Because they don't want to lose the masses. And the masses think UI is stupid. Stupid good, even though he sucks.
So this probably will be the last question for this session.
Oh.
Currently in Project L, 5 champions, Jinx, Ari, Echo, Darius, and Eloy are announced. And in the prototype, Catalina was also there.
Yeah, where's Catalina at, bro? She bad.
And so when you decide on the champions, what elements do you place emphasis on? What elements do you think are important when bringing in champions to the games?
I could answer this one. Thanks. Give me the mic, Cannon Bros. I need a dual fist for this. Testing. Okay. Yeah. How much their skins are gonna sell? How much money they'll make? That's how we determine who we're gonna put in. Thank you. Oh shit.
I think one of our strengths on Project L is how many different kinds of people we have that are passionate about the game. We have old fighting game players, we have new fighting game players, we have people who are new to fighting games, and we have people who maybe come from the league side, the league IP, right? And so when we're building a new champion, there are obviously fighting game concerns.
I love this because if these questions weren't known ahead of time, he's going around the question to formulate an answer. Genius. Playing footsies out here.
You want to consider, like, what is their archetype? Is this a grappler or a zoner, right? What is their style? Like, how can a player express themselves differently within that genre, right? We're also trying to look at the source material, the league IP, and really try to elevate it and say, for a character like Darius, what does Darius represent in League? And what's the best expression of that in a fighting game?
Looks like a big,
right?
burly
They're very
man.
different games. League is very...
I can answer that. Big dude, big weapon, slow, but armored and scary. All right.
Helicopter view, top down. In fighting game is much, much closer inside view. And so how do you make sure that that power fantasy, that essence of the champion is true to a fighting game, but also true to the League IP? And I think one of our strengths as a team is we have so many different perspectives on how to accomplish all of those things. And we'll iterate on a champion continuously until we feel really great about it.
はい、ということで、以上となりますが、結
Okay,
構
this
ま
is
あ、
pretty
プロジェ
good.
クト L 云々というよりも、やっぱりこのキャノン兄弟お二人がどういうふうに格闘ゲームにこう携わってきたかっていうのと、これからどういうふうに携わっていきたいかみたいな話がかなり聞けたのが、すごいいい機会だったなと思います。皆さんもいかがだったでしょうか。
What a
それでは
white.
we'd like to have a word from you, both of you.
Oh, wow. I see all of you, and I see more people behind you. I see more people over there, and more people over there. So exciting to see so many people who love fighting games all in one spot. It's why we love coming to EVO every year, and it's what we're trying to achieve. So thank you all for coming, and I hope you've had a great time.
Yeah, one of the things that's very special for me about fighting games is coming to these events and seeing the same people, you know.
All right, so that was pretty much the Project L portion of it. I think the biggest takeaway is that they basically confirmed that there's no cooldowns, which woo, man, thank God. Holy shit, no cooldowns. Oh, thank you, thank you, baby Jesus. I think that was the biggest thing here that they talked about, right? Is that I guess we could take away as fighting game players. As you know, they want to let the characters play the way they should be played and not be restricted by a timer, which is great, phenomenal. Thank you. For off of what I heard from this game sounds extremely promising. Well, these are fighting game players making a fighting game, but the fattest budget you could possibly imagine. So, and with the guys who made rollback netcode, right? It's like making the Powerpuff Girls. You know, they're in the lab, they're mixing this shit, dude. They're like, yeah, this shit's gonna be busting, dude. And then they hit Chemical X, and Chemical X is the Cannon Brothers, dude, with rollback. They're like, oh my god, what's happening? Cloud, how do you think they'll build specific archetypes in Project W? I feel like beginners can't fight zoners or grapplers well, so they might be weaker on release. I think the best thing that they could do, this is Riot. If anybody from out there from Riot just happened to come across this clip or this video, yeah, great idea right here. I feel that the game should have this algorithm where it's like, oh hey, you lost to who's a grappler in the game in League? Who's a grappler character? I need a grappler. Give me a grappler. Just give me a grappler, guys. Any character that's a grappler. It could be a grappler. For this example. Darius. Set. Blitzcrank. Who do I take? Who do I take from this? Oh, I got 2 sets. Okay, great. Whoever the hell Set is, right? You get your ass busted by Set like 5 games in a row, right? And they're like, oh, hey, something pops up after the 5th game. It's like, oh, hey, I noticed you're losing to Set a lot. Would you like to lab against this character and figure out what they're doing? It's like, great. Boom. Puts you in the lab, right? It has Set, and it basically describes in a short paragraph what the character does, what their moves do, and then it explains to you in like 2 to 3 replays of how to play around the grapple aspect, right? Like this character wants to get in close so they can tick throw you, right? They could jab and then throw you. The way you avoid this is you don't let them get in, or you have to make a read and then you have to jump away, right? Or use the type of push block that they have. I think that's the best thing they could do. It's like, we saw you get your ass busted by this character, right? And of course, at the highest level of the game, you wouldn't want that to pop up. You could turn it off in settings. It's like, oh, hey, you got your shit busted by Echo. This character is a mix-up archetype. Would you like to know how to deal with him? I'm tired of seeing this. You go to settings, you turn it off. Oh, you don't want the tips anymore. That's fine. I think that is the best thing they could do. I don't think they should make grapplers and zoners weaker. I feel that they should have, and again, this would be perfect to do when the game first comes out, right? Because as more characters come out, you don't have to make newer guides every time, right? It's like, oh, you play this character against this character. These are your options. This is what you can do against this, right? Oh, you're playing a zoner. Whoever the fuck is a zoner in League. You have Echo. Use your teleports to your advantage, right? Or whatever projectiles you have to try to fight them. I don't have a takeaway, to be honest. I'd rather just wait and get my hands on it. I've enjoyed just about all fighting games I got my hands on. Just give me my swag and I'm happy. Yeah, at Riot. Anybody at Riot, bro. If you somehow come across this video, dude, $1 million idea right there. Proper training mode tools. Please. Again, Riot, anybody. If you're listening to this, please. This is how you keep player retention, because people hate losing to the same character over and over and over. And new players are not going to know how to lab. New people are not going to have any fucking clue how to lab. You have to do everything for them. They know how to read, right? They're like, oh, this is what this character's special moves do. Okay, I just have to do this to avoid it, right? But in a fighting game, it's different. It's way too fast-paced for newer players to learn what to do and know what to lab. They don't know how to lab. You think these League players know how to fucking lab? You think these Valorant players know how to lab in a fighting game? You're not labbing angles, brother.